My brother announced to the whole family that our father left a will giving my house to him. Everyone turned to me as if I had stolen my own father's property. But what they didn't know, I had prepared a video that made him crumble right there at the dinner table and silenced the entire room in less than 10 seconds. I'm Lauren, 32, an interior architect in Austin, Texas. I spent 8 years hustling on high-profile renovations, late-night client calls, and zero handouts to buy my dream ranch-style home. Every brick, every fixture, I earned it. So when my younger brother decided to pull this stunt, claiming Dad's final wish handed my house over to him, I didn't flinch. I smiled, hit play on my phone, and watched his face drain of color while the truth exploded in front of everyone. Hey friends, got a wild family betrayal story that left you speechless? Drop it in the comments and smash that subscribe button. It keeps these jaw-dropping dramas coming straight to you. 2 years before that dinner, life looked completely different. I closed on my ranch-style home in South Austin after 8 grueling years turning rundown properties into magazine-worthy spaces. The place had 3 bedrooms, a massive open kitchen, and a backyard pool I designed myself. No investors, no partners, just my name on the deed. Dad, Richard, 59 then, showed up the day I got the keys. He walked through every room, nodding approval, and said my success reminded him why he pushed me to stand on my own. Mom, Diane, stayed back at their place in Round Rock, claiming a migraine, but I knew she was sulking because I refused to let Brandon crash with me during another rough patch. Brandon, 29, had been bouncing between odd jobs, delivery driver 1 month, barista the next, always quitting when things got hard. His real hobby was online poker, the kind that eats savings faster than you can refresh the screen. Diane covered his rent more times than I could count, insisting he was figuring things out. Richard tried staying neutral, but I caught him slipping Brandon cash behind her back. The dynamic was exhausting, yet I kept my distance, focusing on client deadlines and paying down my mortgage ahead of schedule. One evening, Richard pulled me aside after a family barbecue at their house. He gripped my shoulder and said the house proved I didn't need anyone's help, a quiet pride I rarely heard from him. Diane interrupted, complaining Brandon's latest gig fell through because the manager was unfair. She didn't notice Richard's eye roll. That night I drove home feeling the weight of their favoritism, but my front door locked out the noise. The house was my fortress, built on contracts I negotiated and invoices I chased alone. Last summer, Diane called out of the blue. She wanted my house for Brandon's birthday, a big blowout to honor Richard's memory on what would have been his 60th. I hesitated because the place was booked solid with client site visits, but Diane pushed hard over the phone, saying the whole family needed this closure, and Brandon deserved a proper celebration after his tough year. Emily, 36, my older sister who managed a boutique in downtown Austin, stayed silent during the group text chain, probably sensing the pressure building. Megan, 28, Brandon's girlfriend and a micro-influencer chasing viral home tours, jumped in with ideas for themed decorations and a catered barbecue that would go huge on social. I agreed on conditions: 80 guests maximum, event wrapped by 9, no structural changes or overnight stays. Diane accepted too fast, then sent a follow-up email attaching a simple loan agreement for the venue, just to keep things official for insurance. The document looked harmless, a 1-page form stating temporary use with no ownership implications, so I signed digitally while juggling a renovation walkthrough. Megan texted nonstop about adding a photo booth in the living room and string lights over the pool, each request chipping at my rules until I shut them down one by one. Brandon chimed in casually, promising he'd handle cleanup himself. Emily pulled me for coffee midweek and admitted Diane had been venting about my rigidity, framing the party as a family healing event I was sabotaging. She didn't take sides, but warned the guest list was already creeping past 100 through Megan's online invites. I reinforced the limits in a firm group message, attaching the signed agreement as a reminder. Diane responded with a voice note laced with disappointment, accusing me of turning a tribute into a battlefield. The tension simmered, yet I held the line, scanning supplier quotes that started arriving addressed to Brandon instead of me. Ashley overheard them at a downtown bar. She, 34, My cousin, who runs a graphic design firm nearby, spotted Brandon, Megan, and Kyle in a corner booth during happy hour. Kyle, 30, Megan's brother and a freelance notary with a shady side hustle, leaned in close while sketching on a napkin. Ashley slid into the next table, phone recording under her purse, and caught every word about forging Richard's will to transfer my house directly to Brandon. Megan laughed about posting new home content from my pool the day after the party, tagging sponsors who'd pay big for the aesthetic upgrade. Brandon bragged the signed loan agreement would make the fake document look legit, just a family update to Dad's estate. Kyle nodded, explaining he could backdate signatures and add a witness stamp from an old contact. They toasted to Diane buying the story hook, line, and sinker, convinced grief would blind her to details. Ashley's pulse raced as Megan described redecorating my master suite in pastel tones for her brand, already pricing furniture deliveries. She waited until they left, then forwarded the audio file straight to me with a single text. Proof they're planning more than a party. I listened in my office parking lot, stomach twisting at Brandon's casual tone, dismissing my ownership like it was pocket change. Kyle's technical rundown on notary seals confirmed this wasn't amateur hour. Megan's excitement over hijacking my space turned the betrayal personal, her influencer greed fueling the scheme. Ashley refused to confront them directly, knowing denial would follow, but the recording gave me something solid to build on. Lauren met Nathan at his office downtown. Nathan, 41, my friend and real estate attorney who'd handled my closing, reviewed the recording on his laptop and leaned back with a tight expression. He advised upgrading security immediately. High-res cameras covering every entry, driveway, and backyard angle with cloud storage tied to my phone. I ordered the system that afternoon from a local installer, scheduling setup before any suppliers arrived. Nathan pulled Richard's actual will from probate files, confirming the house passed solely to me upon his death with no contingencies or codicils. He suggested digitizing a personal video Dad recorded months before passing, where he explicitly stated the property transferred to avoid future disputes. The clip sat on an old hard drive. I transferred it to a secure folder, accessible only by password. Nathan warned Emily might already be swayed by Diane's narrative, given her recent texts echoing sympathy for Brandon's grief-driven mistakes. I forwarded her the supplier invoices rerouted to Brandon's email, highlighting the pattern without revealing the full plot. Nathan drafted a cease and desist template ready to send if boundaries crossed further, emphasizing evidence collection over confrontation. I archived every message thread and vendor confirmation, building a timeline that exposed escalating overreach. The cameras arrived in discrete boxes. The tech wired motion alerts to vibrate my watch. Nathan ended the meeting by stressing proactive documentation turned weak positions strong in estate challenges. The birthday night arrived. Cars lined my street beyond the agreed 80 slots, spilling onto neighbors' lawns while valet kids I never hired directed traffic. Inside, nearly 120 guests crowded the open kitchen and pool deck, red cups littering every surface I'd refinished myself. Caterers hauled in extra grills unapproved, smoke curling over custom tile that took weeks to source. Megan streamed live from my living room couch, panning across built-in shelves and calling it our fresh start pad to her growing followers. Furniture shifted without permission, sectional pushed against walls to make dance space. Outdoor tables dragged indoors, scratching hardwood. Brandon circulated with a bottle, voice rising above the playlist, blasting from speakers swapped in last minute. He slapped backs, accepting congratulations on the family upgrade, as if the deed already changed hands. Diane hovered near the bar setup, beaming at compliments on the venue while ignoring spilled drinks soaking rugs. I monitored feeds on my phone from the upstairs office, alerts pinging for every motion breach. Megan posed by the pool waterfall, promising giveaway contests tied to the new address. Brandon climbed onto a chair mid-room, slurring loud enough for nearby phones to catch. This house is mine now. Dad wanted it this way. Guests cheered, oblivious to the violation, while Emily texted me from the crowd asking if rumors were true. Morning after, Lauren checked the feeds. Cleanup crews lingered outside while Kyle slipped through the side gate carrying a sealed banker's box labeled estate papers. Camera timestamps captured him entering the garage, prying open a cabinet I used for blueprints, and sliding thick envelopes inside before locking up again. Ashley forwarded neighbor ring footage, showing Megan directing movers to tag furniture for post-party storage in my name. Diane left voicemail praising the event's success and hinting at follow-up family meetings to honor Richard's wishes. I compiled clips into a private folder, noting Kyle's fingerprints on the cabinet handle via Zoom enhancement. Nathan reviewed the sequence remotely, confirming trespass and potential tampering sufficient for a restraining order if needed. Emily messaged confusion over Brandon's overnight claims, asking for clarity on Dad's final instructions. I responded with a calm invitation to dinner that Friday, everyone included, to review documents together and settle any misunderstandings. Brandon accepted eagerly, texting about bringing the will for transparency. Megan confirmed via stories, teasing a big reveal teaser. Kyle stayed silent, but Diane replied for the group, relieved tensions might ease. I set the table with printed agendas and cued the real video on a thumb drive hidden in the centerpiece. Friday dinner, 7 sharp. The table filled with relatives as Brandon stood, unfolding a crisp document and declaring Dad's will left the house to him for stability. Diane nodded approval, eyes misty with pride. Emily shifted uncomfortably beside her. I pressed play on the remote. Richard's face filled the screen from his hospital bed, voice steady. The ranch goes to Lauren alone. She earned it. No changes ever. The room froze. Brandon's paper trembled, ink bleeding where his grip crushed the edge. Megan's phone slipped from her hand, live stream still running to stunned viewers. Kyle bolted for the door, but Ashley blocked it, holding up her own copy of the real will. Diane clutched her chest, tears shifting from joy to horror as Richard repeated my name on loop. Emily stood, told Brandon never to contact her again, and walked out. I locked eyes with Mom and said we were done. No more chances, no more family excuses. Brandon lost his part-time gig when coworkers saw the clip circulating. Megan's sponsor deals vanished overnight, accounts shadow banned. Kyle faced a notary board review after Nathan forwarded footage. Diane sold her Round Rock condo to cover legal threats, living alone now. I changed the locks, donated leftover party debris, and blocked every number tied to them. Family isn't a free pass to take what you didn't build. I learned boundaries aren't selfish. They're survival. Earn your own way, protect it fiercely, and walk away from anyone who thinks your sweat belongs to them.